Hello and welcome to the Crypto Club and Digital Assets weekly catch up on Zoom. We hold these sessions every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. UK time. Never quite know what we're going to be talking about. Who knows what we'll end up discussing this evening? Sometimes it's blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, DeFi, ICOs, STOs, central bank digital currencies, anything that really appeals to the audience. If you enjoy this session, do remember to click on the like, subscribe, make comments. Even better, come on to a future session. Details of how to join are in the link below. So with that, let's see who's going to come and join us today. Hey, Yusuf.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good, thanks. How are you keeping?
Yeah, really good, really good. I found this link on the WhatsApp group page or something. So I was
Brilliant,
kind of
okay.
and I just kind of wanted to see what could it just kind of get a kind of update and kind of what's going on at the moment. I know it's kind of we're in the midst of a bull market, but that being said, I think would you say it's a kind of a major correction at this point at the moment, or
I'm not a fan of this whole concept of bull markets and bear markets. Crypto has inherited a lot of the terms that they use in traditional stock markets, but crypto by its very nature is different. And
yeah,
so I just think it's random is the wrong way of describing it. But I think people interpret things completely differently all the time. And so, some people would say, oh, we're in a bear market at the moment, it's going down in various ways. I think the thing I posted on WhatsApp earlier on was kind of tongue in cheek a little bit because I was saying about how it is that Bitcoin at the moment is down to prices not seen since May 2024, um, or as we know it otherwise, last month.
Mhm.
It really is quite funny looking at some of the commentators who are saying, "Oh, things are collapsing or they're going up or whatever." It's like, look, last month it was at 64K. It started the year at 38K, I think it was. So, what kind of increase is that? Is that something like 50%, 40% up on the year so far? So, to me, that's pretty bullish. Um, but when you actually look at the kind of like the sub trend at the moment, where it was at like 72, maybe even 73, or I think a couple of weeks ago, and now it's down to it dropped below 64 earlier on. So you could argue we're kind of in a bear market all of a sudden. So it's like temperatures. We're either at record highs or record lows, depending upon when the record started. And it's some of the Bitcoin. I don't know what's your thinking.
Well, I think in terms of kind of looking at charts, it's like anything. It's like you get these kind of upswings and like you just kind of follow where trends are going to go. I guess you kind of look at kind of moving averages and kind
Mhm.
of go by that. And like the moving averages kind of seem to be fairly positive despite the last month or so. So I still remain optimistic
Mhm.
personally. It just really kind of coincides with what coins you're invested in, I suppose, because like personally, I think the time to get into with regards to utility coins, I think now's not quite its time just yet, but I think it's gearing up for a move upwards. Um, Things like layer two coins like Solana and the like, I think are going to do very well. I dare say that Solana might even outperform Ethereum in this
Mhm.
run. It just
Yep.
has so much further to go. And considering all the kind of projects on the Solana ecosystem and
Mhm.
what with much lesser gas fees on top of that, and a lot of kind of other layers that people can build upon on its ecosystem. Because I know people within Solana myself, and the team are great, and it's a very positive community, and I can only
Mhm.
see it with all that kind of factored in, I'm very, very bullish on it, personally.
So,
A
so
lot of go on, sorry.
can I throw an idea in there? Because I'm always interested in this. That I don't think that the utility of an underlying blockchain has any bearing on the blockchain's cryptocurrency native token. Right. And the example I give is you think about the US dollar, right? The US dollar, you can use it to buy food with and drink and cars and airplanes and oil and. But the value of $1 doesn't increase or decrease depending upon how much it's used, right? And I kind of argue the same with crypto, that if you think about what is the actual variable utility of various crypto blockchains, the one with the least, almost the least flexibility and utility is Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, until recently, it wasn't programmable. The only thing you could do with it is that you could use the UTXO space on it for doing a little bit of running a ledger, but nothing much. So in terms of what it could do, no one was building tokens on top of Bitcoin. No one was building greatly blockchain capabilities on Bitcoin. Whereas Ethereum was exploding. Ethereum with ERC20 tokens was introducing a vast amount of utility, variability, and everything. But since then, Ethereum's price hovering around about, I think it's $3,500 at the moment, which means if you value a coin on the basis of the utility and capability of its underlying blockchain, then Ethereum should be way ahead of Bitcoin, but it isn't.
I agree.
So I'm just interested in why people think that the usability of a blockchain would have an impact on its price, because I think there are different things.
I think when I say utility coins, I mean things that, kind of, I'm using that in the context of things that are going to be used in the kind of burgeoning financial system. For example, you look at something like an XRP, which is said to, handle transactions in seconds rather than a Bitcoin, which for, a supposed, financial system or a Forex system that, for a Swift system even that processes payments and it takes days, they need something a lot quicker than that for an age like this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm referring to, and XML as a kind of a partner to that, and you've got things like Hedera, which, it's even. I'm not quite sure of the kind of processing speeds of that, and I'm also talking about things like what's the name of there's Algorand as well. There's Quant, I believe. Yes. So yeah, just by naming those, really.
Yeah.
That's what I refer to.
I was going to say I agree, and in fact on that basis, any token that is ISO 20022 compliant, which for those who don't know, ISO 20022 is the kind of like the industry messaging standard for payments. So you mentioned Swift before. Swift have got a network of computers around the world, which the banks use to make interbank payments, and that they use ISO 20022. So any crypto token that is ISO 20022, so Stellar Lumen, so XLM, Ripple, as you say, XRP. I think you mentioned another one before. Quant, yeah, QNT, I think is ISO 20022. There's about 5 or 6. I think IOTA is as well, and possibly one other. In theory, because that means that they may well be adopted by banks or Swift or whatever, means that their usability or their utility will be quite considerable. So you would have thought they'd be going up in price. But Ripple, if I remember correctly, I think it's hovering around $0.481 at the moment, so 48.1 cents. So it's dropped down a few percent, I think, the last day or so. So I mean, I don't know, is the ultimate thing, but I'm just fascinated as to how people reach their conclusions and all that kind of thing. So interesting. So talking of people, I see we've got Robert and Elena joined us as well. So hey, Robert, nice to see you back. Hi, Elena. Oh, nice to see you waving. But yeah, Yusuf, what's your general interest then? Are you into the crypto trading or the blockchain side of things, or what?
So I've been in crypto. Well, I started investing in Bitcoin back in 2014. And like I first heard about Bitcoin when it was about 30, 40 pounds or so. And I'm a journalist by trade. So I started writing about it. I became fascinated in it. And then I started investing a little, which became so and so. Regretted not investing a bit more, and so like hindsight's a wonderful thing. And yeah, I kind of lost my a lot of my Bitcoin, but 10 years later, like found them again and retrieved them. Um, and also I've been a consultant for companies such as Skrill Crypto, and I've also kind of helped out numerous kind of other startups as well and YouTube channels in terms of
Okay.
crypto. Um, I'm also a copywriter as well, so and content writer, essentially a gun for hire because I'm freelance. So yeah, that's my background in a nutshell. So that yeah.
Yeah, it's always fascinating. I mean, that's why I've been running these sessions now for it must be about 3 years or so, and it's always interesting hearing people's different backgrounds, their experience, and it tends to be they've either been around since, as you are the case, 2014, 2015, or 2022, and they're still quite new to it. It's all exciting, and they're all baffled about what's going on there. And for me, it's kind of interesting that talking about prices, I find is almost a distraction because I'm more interested in the technology innovation that's going on. But I'm also mindful that what gets the press and what gets the attention is the prices. It's ultimately it's the whole, oh, Bitcoin's gone up or Ethereum's gone up or it's gone down. That generates the column inches in the press, and that generates the interest in the general public as well. So the more that happens, the better, really.
Mm. I also
Uh,
think that, like with it, sorry, I was just going to say with Ethereum in terms of its utility and what it does, while Solana is a good competitor, I've yet to see it kind of, you know, I think what I do I think it's going to overtake it? Time will tell, but because it's just had so many kind of, bugs and so many kind of mishaps, like especially in the last couple of years, that it kind of it shoots itself in the foot a lot.
mhm.
That being said, you've got Ethereum 2.0 kind of saying that, they're going to launch, but no one knows when. So there's still quite a lot up in the air at this point in terms of, the tech side of things, which
It's,
leaves the door open for others.
yeah, but I think we're still in an innovation and exploration phase. I think it's all experimenting. Sorry, Elena, you put your hand up.
Oh
Were you
yeah.
going to ask something there?
Hi everyone. Hi Gary,
All
and
right.
nice to meet you, Joseph. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions, Joseph. You are a journalist and a copywriter and a writer. I would be interested. Where can we read you?
So in terms of my crypto stuff, like I've done stuff for um, Dazed and Confused magazine, for my crypto stuff. Um, I've written in terms of places I've written for the Guardian, where else? A lot of the kind of national newspapers. But what I can do is I can leave a link of things I've written, like
Would be great.
in a minute. And yeah, I can show you.
That'd
Yeah.
be really interesting.
And
Thanks.
thanks. And also, you said that you're a Bitcoin investor. So, without giving any financial advice, would you share your experience or what do you think is the best way to invest in Bitcoin?
I'm glad you were the one that says them don't give financial advice, not me. No, but
I only said that because I regularly come to Gary's meetings.
Ah,
And
okay.
I always say this is not financial, legal, or taxation advice. Absolutely.
Oh, that's very reassuring. Thank you. No, so in my experience, like we're very in the very early days of Bitcoin, I would purchase. This was before Coinbase, by the way, which I suggest you buy from because they're the kind of first stop. Um, they've got the most, kind of amount of users in the world. I think it's about nearly 60 million people on its platform. So, that those figures can't be wrong. But I remember buying them from things like, Bittylicious or places like couldn't it's been so long, it's been 2013, 2014. But I also used, do you remember the days when there were faucet taps where you kind of you'd get a small amount of Satoshis from these. But to answer your question directly, Elena, I would suggest going on Coinbase and setting up an account there. And it's very user friendly, it's very easy to use, it's very secure. Um, yeah, I would start there and like just building it from there, I suppose. I'm assuming you just want to buy and hold and not trade necessarily. So, which even then, Coinbase Advanced had its own trading platform on there. So that would be my suggestion to you is to use Coinbase.
Okay, thanks. So that's for a beginner if someone wants to buy and hold, not trade.
Yes, that's right.
And
Yeah.
then if they want to start trading, then what do we do?
There's a number of the ones you can use. Like the one that tends to be my favorite is Binance, despite all the trouble it's kind of got itself into. Binance kind of does me well, although I'm still learning myself. I mean, I'm not the kind of best trader in the world. I kind of go off like what I'm learning at the moment. So, but Binance seems to has done really well for me in the past, and it does now. But nowadays, I tend to put them in cold storage, like a cold storage wallet. In fact, I can show you if yeah, one of these basically. Get one yourself. One of these.
And now,
It's a cold storage wallet.
Mhm.
Like, yeah. And where you connect it to your computer and you take it offline and it's very, very safe.
Thank you.
So it's kind of a Ledger Nano.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I,
problem.
I'd endorse that for beginners. I always used to recommend Coinbase actually because I found it really easy to use, and it used to be that it actually had quite limited functionality. So when I first started with it, I think it only offered about 5 cryptocurrencies that you could trade in, and it was very basic in what you could do. Then as you build your confidence and your experience, then Binance is a great crypto exchange in terms of the capabilities and the coins and the tokens it offers. Kraken, I used to find Kraken quite difficult. I think it was because of the features it had. They've made it a bit easier now. So Kraken's pretty good as well as an exchange. And then you start looking at the decentralized exchanges, which I haven't used simply because I'm nervous about decentralized exchanges and the ownership and what could potentially happen. But Yusuf again makes a really good point that ultimately, once you get some experience, move your crypto keys onto a hardware wallet. So make sure that you've got complete ownership of them and don't leave your crypto on an exchange as such. So make sure you've got them locally or that you've saved them somewhere different. The great thing about crypto is you've got complete control over your crypto assets if you choose to. The worst thing about crypto is you've got complete control over your assets if you want to, which means you're now personally responsible. So if something goes wrong, it's up to you to sort it out or your friends to sort it out or whatever. Whereas at least with the bank, if something goes wrong, you can occasionally still find a bank branch and go and complain or something. So this is one of the drawbacks actually with exchanges as well on the crypto side. If something goes wrong, it can be very difficult. If you lose your access or you lose your wallet or you need it recovering or something, if it's on an exchange, it's surprising how hard it is to get in touch with people on exchanges to get help and support. That they're not designed to be very helpful in that respect. So it does mean it all comes down to personal responsibility. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just wanted to bring Robert in while we're talking about that. Robert, welcome back. And if you're listening at the moment, Robert, I don't know, you're quite into the startup ecosystem, if I remember correctly. Just wondered if you had anything of interest you could share with us, or because he's staying on mute, has he gone away? No, he's staying on mute for now. Never mind. Okay. So, Elena, did that answer the questions okay?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and also, I still remember the piece of advice you gave to only buy as much as you are prepared to lose.
yep. Absolutely. It's a whole thing of never put in more than you can afford to lose. And by lose, I mean completely lose. Yeah, but definitely that. So, and that's why it's been fascinating hearing some of the stories where people have taken out loans and this kind of thing. It's just like that's just crazy. Never do that. The other thing I suggest as well to some people, if they're just getting into this kind of thing, is first of all start with what I would call a low price crypto. So you think about with Bitcoin at the moment, Bitcoin is like $64,000. So if you bought BTC, you'd be buying like 0.0001 for $100 or whatever. There are other coins like Bitcoin Cash, so BCH, which are smaller price, which just means for a bit of fun, you can buy something like BCH without paying massive fees and that kind of thing, and just get used to buying and selling and getting your keys sorted out and that kind of thing. That's all good fun. And Yusuf just shared in the link his crypto article, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So I don't know, Yusuf, we never quite know where we're going to go on these sessions because it depends entirely on the audience and what they want to talk about and what they're finding interesting. So I was curious, you talked about Solana before, which has certainly grown quite significantly over the last couple of years, I guess, and is building the prominence. But you're saying there's been a few bugs and that kind of thing, which I think is fair. I actually think that this is the whole thing, that a lot of the crypto market doesn't realize that cryptocurrencies are ultimately software, and software can have bugs in it and it can go wrong. So it's always interesting on that. But
Yeah.
I think Solana's fairly stable now, isn't it?
Yeah, I've not encountered any issues. Kind of certainly not lately. Like whether there's been this year, there might have been one. Like, but that being said, like one thing I want to like bring up is that when Ethereum's price kind of goes to wherever it goes, invariably it'll mean gas fees are going to go crazy again. So, unfortunately, that means, like gas fees for a transaction or something on a busy network. So, where people will gravitate to most likely is the Solana network or like other kind of networks within Ethereum. So, I'm thinking more of the kind of base network, for example, with much lower fees. And that's where my attention is right now. Like, it's in two particular areas. It's in base and Solana as well. And I'm actually farming for airdrops at the moment right now as well. So
Okay.
on both networks. But my main attention's on base for a number of reasons.
So I just know Elena's going to ask this, although she probably knows this already by now.
Farming for airdrops. Yeah.
Tell us more for those who don't know, Yusuf. What's an airdrop?
An airdrop is when a particular network rewards its users for participating in various activities and rewards them with cryptocurrency, free crypto. And when the cryptos gets released and drops into the wallet, it's usually for a very low fee, which um, over the long term may or may not rise to, a lot of money, or it might be worth something. And that's happened with, it's happened with Ethereum back in the day. It's happened with, Solana. It's just happened with Layer Zero. It's just happened with the ZK Zinc. It's just happened, with a lot of meme coins as well. So basically, it's essentially, in a nutshell, it's free crypto. That's what it is.
That's a nice way of summing it up, actually. And Elena, if you benefit as well. So sometimes companies will do that because they either want to start building a community and some buzz. So if they've created a Telegram group or something and they want to grow the size of that Telegram group, then they might offer free crypto in their token for anybody who promotes their Telegram group, for example. So this is why you'll sometimes see in Telegram groups somebody saying, hey, come and join this group, it's great, and it'll have a little URL in it. And the URL, which is the address of the Telegram group, has got in it an embedded code to say who's provided that link. So it's a way of the company working out who they need to give the free tokens to as a reward. Other companies will give free tokens for what are known as bug bounties. So this is where people will look at source code and identify software bugs, and they'll get rewarded for that. Some people will help build the community websites, making comments on social media, that they all get free tokens on that. So it can be quite a nice way of getting free tokens in some way, which then if that token does well, then you come out of it quite nicely. But the majority of it tend not to do too brilliantly. So some of them do. And also you might find in the days of what were known as ICOs, so initial coin offerings, which is mainly 2016, 17, 18-ish, some of which are coming back now, securities offerings. It was a way of rewarding early investors, although you have to be careful with the word investor. So sorry, what I should say, it was a way of rewarding early purchasers of the token, right? That if you bought the token, you'd get it at a discounted price, or you get so many free, and that kind of thing. So it was a way of getting your token out there into the market, really. So, and the other thing as well is Yusuf mentioned what were called faucets, and faucets were basically another way of getting free crypto. So it might be you'd go onto a website, and I think Binance do this still. Binance, if you go onto their website, they've got like a training area where you learn about crypto. And as part of the training, once you complete it, you get so many BNB coins free or something. So it's just another way of getting free tokens.
By training, a nice idea.
Yeah. So it meant you're learning, but you're also being rewarded for it, which is quite unusual. These days, we tend to charge people for learning, not give them a free incentive. And again, it's a nice way for Binance to get people to have some of their tokens and use them and experience them. And it builds up the awareness. And because they're doing it, it means people like me say, hey, if you go onto the Binance site, there's a training thing, you get some free tokens. So it's almost like free publicity for them, or at a very low price.
Coinbase used to do it as well. Do you remember when you had to do these quizzes? They'd put you on really.
Sorry, Yusuf, I think you're breaking up at the moment, unless it's just me. Yeah.
No, for me, Yusuf is also breaking up. Yeah.
Yeah. And Yusuf, your screen's frozen as well. It's whenever Yusuf starts talking about something really interesting, it starts breaking up. It's because you're moving.
Yeah, I've moved rooms, so it should be kind of much better now. I'm gonna get somewhere more comfortable. Yeah. Yeah. So as I was just saying, like, Coinbase used to do it all the time. And when I tried to qualify for the I can't remember whether it was Layer Zero or ZK Zinc. It was one of the two, and they had a faucet for Ethereum where they'd give you zero point 0.1 Ethereum, which was a lot.
Hmm.
Even last year, they would
Wow.
give you zero point 0.1 Ethereum to complete tasks on its network. So you might get an airdrop or something. I sadly didn't qualify for only in just this week they announced they confirmed they were going to do an airdrop, and sadly I didn't qualify, and that made me so angry because I'd done all these tasks, I didn't qualify. So
Wow.
yeah, it's not as easy as just showing up and like saying, hey, I'd like some free Ethereum or something. Doesn't work.
And there you go. I've just pulled a screen up of the Ethereum price at the moment. It's on about just under $3,500. So yeah, 0.1 ETH would be like $340. That's rather impressive. That would have been a good incentive if you'd have qualified.
Mm. Oh well. Oh well. It's there are plenty of other airdrops, so
Yeah. Do you go to a particular site, or do you have a particular source for where airdrops are coming up? Because people sometimes say to me, "How do you find out about airdrops?"
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the site I used to use, but what I'm doing now is that I'm actually using a site to save me time and energy and money. Is that I'm using a site called farmbase.pro,
Okay.
and it does a lot of the hard work for me. So I deposit a certain amount of crypto. So in my case, I put in a certain amount of Solana and I put in a certain amount of Ethereum on base, and I activate it to, farm airdrops for me,
Okay.
over the course of a year, and I get a certain amount in return. And you can make as many wallets as you want. So it's almost like so think of it like hiring a bunch of tractors or plows to tend the fields for you.
Mhm.
Or if you're gold digging, you're hiring a team of gold diggers to find them for you. And when they do find them, you get the rewards from it, which saves you, and that I don't want to spend my time or waste my time, looking for like airdrops when this can do it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's good because I
if you like,
know
I can leave a referral link if it helps.
we're trying to
Not a
avoid.
shameless plug.
I was going to say we're trying to avoid referral links generally, but if there's certainly something you can share that which would be of interest. The other thing as well that there are dedicated
That's the
websites,
site I used to use.
at airdrops.io, and this lists off, what the various airdrops are. I seem to remember it used to have dates of when they were starting and when they were ending. Um, but as you say, one of the problems is you have to keep looking at these kind of things, whereas there are some other sites which will now do it for you. And I know some people who've tried to develop their own software. It sounds similar to what you're describing, where you basically set it up to go trawling for airdrops for you. So yeah, but there's still a lot of things going on. Let's have a look at Solana, just as a random one. There you go. It actually explains how you get your invite code, um, and how you get your crypto as well. And then you can claim it and see where it goes. Yeah, interesting stuff. So let's just check if Robert's back yet. Robert, are you online yet? No, he's still staying quiet. He's away. Never mind. So there you go, Elena. We've now got airdrops that added to the
I
list of things.
sorry.
Oh,
I was just sorry I'm late. I was on Zoom, which went on far too long. I like your new Gary. Looks very distinguished. I haven't seen you for I think 3 months. The last time I was on your Zoom.
cool. Excellent. Well, welcome back. I
Can
think
you hear me?
it's breaking up. I think you're walking away from your Wi-Fi connection or something at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I was in
Ah,
the garden.
that sounds better. So
That's my
tell.
wife's garden.
Very nice. So
Yeah.
Robert, what's going on in your world? You're a busy man.
Let me come in. Yeah. I've been through quite a journey since I last spoke to you because I spent time my wife doesn't like the winter here, so we spent 2 months in Goa, January and February. That's where my parents are from. You know, I was born in Uganda. I came here as a refugee.
Okay.
So I travel. I'm coaching people to be digital nomads because with everything that's going on, there's so many opportunities in terms of AI and what's happening in the blockchain. A lot of people who are happy to share revenues. They're not greedy people. And 2 weeks ago, I met a very interesting, I call him a rare gem, 1 in a billion. He's worth 5 billion. He used to be a monk before, but now he's sort of, he's got like 18 businesses. One of his business, his first billion he made was from the energy drinks market. He's got a healthier version than the Red Bull called the 5-hour energy drink.
Okay.
Yeah. So what he's also got is he's out of his 5 billion, his legacy is to give 99% of his wealth to help humanitarian projects. So he's feeding 1 million people a day in India.
Okay.
He provides. He's also found a breakthrough to clean the water. So he gives them clean water, and then he's got his own solar devices to give them free electricity, and then he gives them good quality fertilizer.
Okay.
So they can thrive as a community. So I'm working quite closely with him, but what he's just releasing now is the best quality water in the world, and people in the UK and US can try it for free. They just pay for the postage.
The idea of posting water seems quite unusual.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Elena, how are you, Elena? I've seen Elena for a long time. You must get an award, Elena, because I remember the day when you first came. You used to be so quiet and just listen and learn, which is amazing.
Thank you. I remember that day as well.
So Robert, with the stuff that you're looking at, is there anything with the blockchain connection in there at all?
Yeah. We in fact, I was due to have gone to Dubai, but my business partners are there. They should be coming back tomorrow. We are dealing with something quite big in terms of my legacy has always been to connect people and work from bottom up rather than top. I used to be in the corporate world. I didn't like the energy. It was very toxic and it's just based on greed. So I said, no, I can't work. But what I've done is I've taken the CSR, corporate social responsibility, and then I've actually re-engineered it, and I said it's no longer about corporate social responsibility because you guys, it's just PR for you. I've switched it around to make it communities who collaborate, caring communities who collaborate and share rewards, right? Because all these consulting firms, you got these partners making $1 million each. You know, they all earn a million. And it's crazy. You can see the wealth is not trickling down. Okay. So
I was going to share as well. It's interesting you talk about communities, and you were mentioning energy production, I think, earlier on, that you were saying about it in India. One of the projects I was involved in a few years ago was a blockchain-based energy distribution scheme. So you think about how more and more people are getting like solar panels or wind generators or whatever. And in some countries, they were generating surplus electricity.
Yeah.
And we were looking at how would you do it, whereby you would resell the surplus electricity into a community pool so that the community could benefit from it, or you could sell it back to your national supplier. So we were devising like smart contracts on a blockchain. So it would act as an energy trading platform, in fact.
Yeah.
So you'd have community things. So I think there was a project in Brooklyn, if I remember it, in New York a while ago, around a community that had solar panels, and they were generating surplus electricity and selling it back and selling its thing. And we were looking at doing that on a massive scale in China. And we were about to start the next exploration phase in January 2019, if I remember correctly, because something happened in China in January 2019, which meant that project never happened.
Oh, what a shame.
It was incredible timing. And it was all tied in with how did we have IoT devices tracking electricity generation and smart contracts and buying and selling and trading and everything. So really interesting stuff, some high caliber people on that. So, yep.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because I've got my business partner who I'm working with this billionaire. He's got a community of 700,000 people who were part of the IoT. I think you may remember the name. I think it's Helium. The Helium. Okay, so I'm connected with him. So what I'm trying to do, Gary, is I've got cutting edge products which are patented. And so I've now got about 7 income generators, passive. So people who've got a job can still do what they want to do, but they can build it up passively. But I also realized there is a big market, the B2B market. And I thought we can't ignore that because that's where businesses want to buy in bulk. And so the Zoom I was on earlier was to do with how do you actually create a global platform for million plus. There's School. I'm sure you're familiar with School, but there's also Nas.io. You're familiar with that, where he shares the revenues from the subscription model? Okay, I need to share these things with you.
I know about Nas because you get Nas daily.
That's the one.
Which is very inspirational, traveling around the world, looking at what's going on.
It.
Yep.
That's it. So basically, he's created a subscription model where he keeps, if you charge $10, he only keeps 10%. Okay, around that, less than that, but around 10%. So I like that model because it gives people the opportunity to use all the smart tools, and you can still, use that subscription model for your team to do smart things. So that's where I wanted to catch up and ask you if there's a lot of synergy and there's so much happening since we last spoke. I have been blessed to meet the right people, but my focus is, I say your health is wealth. So I always say to people, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, and health covers mental health, peace of mind, the wow factor is wisdom, optimizing wealth, and wealth is not just money, as you know, it's everything else. So health is going to be the key driver, and all these other things with the blockchain. Because I'm not technical, I would like you to be like the devil's advocate or do the due diligence, because I know you got a process where you can see where there's some faults or needs tweaking or whatever. Because you always have I've always listened to what your recordings. You always make your history, what's going on, and if there's ways you can improve it, you always come up with suggestions, which a lot of people don't.
It's based on the bitter experience of having the scars and that kind of thing, that I find most of the time, most new ideas have been had by somebody else previously, a few years earlier. And so I see at the moment, there's a lot of excitement around real world assets and tokenization of real estate. And I've seen that cycle go about 3 times now, and it keeps hitting problems where everyone says, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this great tokenization of property, really innovative." And it's like, I know about 60 projects that failed doing that. So yeah, I'm always open to share experiences and occasionally connect people with.
But what I'm trying to do,
more.
Yeah, what I'm doing at the moment, Gary, I'm keeping it very, creating an inner circle of trusted advisors and gatekeepers, because I don't want to share this publicly until we've got it right. So the Zoom call I had was with somebody who I'm not technical, so I'm not very good with all the technical stuff that you need to integrate to create this platform. What my plan is to do, because nothing beats face-to-face interactions, because you can pick up people's energy and the frequencies and vibrations. So I'm going to be very strategic in how I build the teams, because I want to initially do it face to face, because what happened during COVID was actually a complete disaster for humanity. Mm-hmm. And so that film which you mentioned, The Source, or did you mention that? Oh, no, it was the other Zoom call. Sorry. Mm-hmm. I need to share it with you because I'm working you've heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm working with his UK team. Okay. And his technology is groundbreaking. Own recycling business which turns all the green waste, food waste into compost. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he uses the plastic. So plastic, we don't want these things to go into the landfill. So we are trying to educate organizations, hospital, all these people who just get rid of waste but don't recycle it.
Yeah.
So that's one. That's one of our businesses.
I was going to say, let's turn it back for the benefit of everyone who's on the call. We'll take it back to the crypto and blockchain side of things for now.
Okay.
Dubai is definitely an amazing place with the stuff that they're doing. They're very regulatory friendly. I've presented at a conference out there. I was really impressed with how much they've grasped the technology. There's definitely a thing on that. And Binance are quite active in the Middle East. So one of the guys who's based out of Abu Dhabi sometimes comes onto this call. Usually when he's in the departure lounge at Heathrow, he just calls up to see what's going on, which is brilliant. So that's really good. But there are so many potential crypto and blockchain connections to the various things that you're talking about there. Whether it's tracking things like green waste and that kind of thing. I know companies who get involved in that, and you're absolutely right about things like CSR, corporate social responsibility. That be calculated in so many ways and recorded in so many ways. And I seem to remember there was a company, a startup in London, who were doing a lot of stuff around putting all that onto a blockchain so that you then had an immutable evidence record of your waste for your organization, which was quite interesting in that. So there's all sorts of connections on that, definitely. So anyway, Robert, we'll pick up separately at some point, and we'll be good to meet up again.
Yes. Thank you so much.
So I don't know if the others are on the call. We've only got about 10 minutes left. Any particular topics that are hot or anything at the moment?
Can I just?
Yes. That's you. Sorry, I didn't have my glasses.
Yeah, there's actually a question for you. Because you mentioned you help people become digital nomads. That's something I'm really interested in.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. I'm going to. It's one of the biggest global events in Malaysia. In September, you got all the ex-presidents of countries, all the specialists in the digital space. You got the guy who.
What you're talking about? Is it
Malaysia? In Malaysia. Sorry.
Is it Nomad Capitalist?
Yes.
I thought so. Yeah.
I'm going to that. I'll be there it's 5-day conference. But I follow my gut and not my head, because ever since I've been using my head space, it's always I've ended up losing money because the mind plays tricks. But ever since when I look at anything, I look at the energy, look at the people. Is it worth me taking time out, investing time to go there and learn? And my gut said yes.
Yeah, I really want to go. It's just the expenditure involved.
I know, it's crazy.
A, getting to Malaysia, and B, for the conference over 4 days. It's enormous. Yes. So, but I feel like it'd be worth it.
The good thing, and this is why I like Gary, how he does things, is we are here as a family. Okay, I always look at what Gary is doing, because he doesn't think about money. He does things to help educate people and help them on their journey. And very few people do that. Every Sunday to have this Zoom call, and he's got a passion, and I love what his energy is. So I'm so glad to meet you, Yusuf. Where are you based?
I'm in West London.
Okay. So I said we must meet up. I will share a lot of the IP that I do with people are focused on legacy projects. Okay. And blockchain for me, I've always been interested because I've always seen that the only way, when I work in the corporate world, there's a lot of creative accounting going on. Okay. I didn't like it, because that's the system, you can't change it. But in the blockchain space, there's total accountability, transparency, and it sort of stops all the scams and all the things. I mean, yes, some people can rig the system, but at least they got a proper way of keeping track of, in real time, of what they do.
Robert, can I suggest before we forget as well, I know Yusuf's putting a link to some of the articles that he's written. It might be worth you all just dropping into the chat your connection details, because one of the things I enjoy about these sessions is connecting people, because I love being part of just adding little bits to people's networks, and sometimes the magic happens, which is brilliant.
Yes. Exactly, because when I developed the wow factor, people say, what? They use this word wow, what does it really mean? I said it's wisdom which you acquire in life, going through ups and downs, optimizing wealth. And my business partner in Toronto, he actually, I helped him publish his book called Mom, M-O-M. And Mom, when you reverse it, is wow. Okay. And what it stands for is miracles optimizing missions in life. Okay, so if you've heard of the Midas touch, okay, so we are bringing all the spiritual values and principles into business. So we are educating people that life is not just about making money, but what impact, what difference, what's your legacy, and for me, that's what drives me, every day.
That's the thing I love about being involved in the crypto space, that you get the opportunity to meet and talk to people who are getting involved in things that you would never have thought about otherwise. It's not all about BTC and ETH. Sometimes it's about projects that really could change the world.
Yeah.
So definitely stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you're looking at securing that crypto as well, and a separate chat about cryptographic security would be worth exploring as well at some point. So,
Yusuf, you know about the Nomads, so you can share that. I think, Gary, are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of the event. I've bumped into a few people over the years who've been into that kind of space. One of them was an Australian girl who was traveling around the world, just surviving on crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really interesting, that she was making sure that wherever she stayed accepted crypto. When she was buying food and drink, it was via a card, that was via crypto. And she was trying to spend a year traveling around the world just on crypto, which was quite nice. And I know a few digital nomads who are based out in Portugal who live on crypto. So it's doable type thing. But it's quite a challenging thing as well for people who work and still get paid in traditional fiat. So it's a fascinating thing on that.
I'm just getting the links for you whilst you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Nomad Capitalists, I've read the book, the YouTube channel, kind of opening bank accounts in various different countries, getting citizenship, residencies. That's what it's all about. And this event, if I could get there somehow, it would be amazing. I've been trying for the last 2 years, and like both times it's just been, kind of my crypto wasn't quite enough to do it, sadly, but and it's sold out, I think, and this year, I think, isn't it, Robert?
Yeah, it's sold out. The VIPs, I think they may be, but it's too high for most people to be a VIP.
Yeah, I think about 10 grand or something.
Yeah, which is, I mean, if you're a business, it's okay, and but most people, they're not in that situation. So I'll just post that in the group chat.
If you pop that in, because I'm going to have to close this call off in a
Okay.
couple of minutes, and it would be a
Okay.
shame to miss an opportunity to not
The
to
other
not connect
link.
you both. Oh, good. There you go.
You got it there?
Nomad Capitalist. Yeah.
The other links, that's more one-to-one. So I'll share that with you and Yusuf and Elena, because Elena deserves a prize for being so consistent, not quitting, coming on the call, soaking it all in, even though she doesn't understand everything. Doesn't matter.
Oh, no.
No, thank you so much. It does bring me a lot of
Joy
good as well.
and
Yeah.
pleasure, because
And
to
pleasure.
be surrounded by people like Gary and Yusuf
Oh,
is
no.
bringing their energy.
It's a privilege.
Now, Elena is now part of the expert community. Elena came in as a complete novice at the beginning, but now she is my go-to person if I want to know about the metaverse. She knows much more than many other people, and she's developed her own expertise. That's brilliant. So
I'm still a beginner, but very soon I'll be, yeah.
So Elena's strength has always been that she's really, really good at saying, about 15 minutes ago, you mentioned something. Can you just tell me what that is? And it's fantastic. I love it. So it's always a good thing. Right. Robert, if you can quickly share that link for Yosef and Elena, because I'm going to have to close this call off, unfortunately, as we get on to the hour.
What I'll do, better still, I'll bring you on a Zoom. I'll try and arrange a Zoom, because because it's just come out just a week ago in Dubai. So I last night I was like, okay, I like what you're doing in the blockchain space, decentralized, but I'm not a techie. So Yusuf and Gary, you guys can ask the right questions, okay? But what I know is one of the guys from Binance is part of it.
Okay, so Yusuf, for your benefit, I know Elena and I are connected already. I've just shared my LinkedIn profile.
Already on your page.
Brilliant. So just connect, and I'll be happy to connect you with Robert separately for either of you are interested in that. Well, unfortunately, we are on the hour, and I have to close the call off for now. But really, really nice to get some connections going and some conversation going. Interesting to hear about some different things there as well. So Yusuf, thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Really interesting. Elena, thank you as well as being the resident metaverse expert, even though we didn't talk about the metaverse this week, but I'm sure that will change again. And Robert, thank you simply for sharing your passion. I always love that, and it's always nice. So anything where we can reach out and we can connect, more than happy to do that.
Thank you so much.
So
Yusuf, nice meeting you. Elena.
Thank you.
Have a blessed Sunday, what's left of it.
Thank you.
And for anyone who's watching this recording on YouTube, don't you just wish you'd have been part of this conversation? So you come along next time and join in. Anyway, folks, have a great evening. Have a great day. Bye for now.